strength, poised for success. We are moving ahead. We are in the midst, about 18 months into a 10-year master plan to guide the infrastructural growth of the university called Temple 2020, which over the next 10 years will pump over $1.2 billion of infrastructural improvement into the main campus at Temple. Right now, nearly 13,000 students live on or around the campus, which for some of you represents a sea change from what Temple might have felt like when you went to school, where some of you might only have known Temple because of the subway stop you got off to go to class and then go to job or go to work and go back home at the end of the day. It's not, in large measure, like that anymore. This is a vibrant community. It is a residential community, and it's getting bigger. By 2020, close to 25,000 undergrads will live on or close to campus. Over 3/4 of our undergraduate population will be residential to Temple. You can't imagine what that will do for the energy that we'll be able to create in the decades moving forward as these students graduate and become alums. We're in for some good times ahead. Again, a lot going on. Off the heels of our 125th anniversary as a university, off the heels of our 2020 plan, we are constructing housing, we are constructing a 21st century library, we are constructing new recreational, dining, computing, and athletic facilities on our campus, because as you grow the campus population, of course you've got to have those services and you've got to have those back-end facilities to be able to make your kids feel welcome and accommodated at Temple. And that's what this 2020 plan is all about. Again, a time of great change, and academically, the university remains as strong as ever. Proud to report that off of a record enrollment class last fall, a freshman record enrollment of 4,150 students last fall, we may approach the 4,400 mark this year in terms of freshman enrollment on campus. What you want, if you are a college administrator, is for your acceptance rate to be able to decrease year after year, and your matriculation rate or your deposit rate to be able to increase year after year. And Temple is doing that. Our acceptance rate, where back in the day was almost 80%, may be close to 55% this year, while our matriculation rate may be close to 50% this year. That simply means that more students are looking to Temple as their university of first choice. And there are a lot of reasons for that. The nation's most statistically diverse campus in one of the world's most statistically diverse cities, and it's a campus that gives experiential education in a first-class, world-class environment, and you all are products of that. Or your friends or spouses or neighbors or coworkers are products of that, and you can say that Temple Owls are doing pretty good, and we're going to get better. The university will continue to get stronger. You know, I represent the athletics program, but certainly can talk with pride about the rest of the university. I came across a statistic, and because I'm from athletics, I'll throw one little statistic at you because I love these stats about Temple and just, you know, how much pride we should have in our program. You know, we're all familiar with kind of our upturn of our football program over the last couple of years, 17 wins over the last 2 years, and where our basketball teams, both men and women, have been very, very strong. And those big three sports for Temple continue to be sustain that level of success. I came across this stat over the last 2 years. So this school year that we're in right now and last school year, Temple had 121 victories in football, men's basketball, and women's basketball combined. That is the third most wins in the country for football, men's basketball, and women's basketball. Schools that you may have heard of, Penn State, North Carolina, UConn, Florida State, and Duke, not as good as Temple in terms of the number of wins. Before I close, and we're going to do our raffle, I do want to extend, you know, and continue to, as Anthony did, thank Bruce Waxman in his 6th year of leading the Los Angeles board. No doubt that Bruce is the best in the business as far as organizing events for alumni, motivating his fellow board members to become involved and engaged here in Los Angeles. And this is an area that's, you know, It's not condensed in terms of geographics, and it's hard to get from one side of this in the traffic, and we all know that. But somehow through that all and through busy schedules and everything else, Bruce keeps it together and keeps this club growing and thriving, and that's what we need, and we appreciate that so much. So thank you. But it's time to keep this up. I don't know how many of you have had the pleasure to meet Brett Perkins. Brett is about a year into his role as the president of the Temple University Alumni Association. But Brett has brought a mantra with him, and it's called One Thing. And if you've been on our university website or our myaltspace.com website, you may have seen some of the banner ads or the button where you can click on it. I encourage you to do that when you get back in front of a computer. Brett's whole thing is every graduate of Temple, every alum, every friend, find your one thing, your one way to connect to the university. If every graduate could find their one thing, maybe it's attending an event, maybe it's recruiting or referring a prospective student to Temple, maybe it's making a gift back as an alum, and finding a way to support your school or a program that you have affinity to and care about. Or maybe it's just talking or waving the flag out, out in the garden or out above your garage. If every single one of us could find our one thing, okay, to move forward the vision and the message of Temple University, extrapolate that nationwide, worldwide, our 273,000 graduates worldwide, what kind of university could we be if each of us just did our one thing? And as I mentioned at the top, this is a tough time economically, and Temple yesterday announced a series of cost-cutting measures in response to Governor Corbett's anticipated reduction of the Commonwealth appropriation to higher education of 50% to Temple, which will represent a sea change for ourselves in terms of how we do business as a university and what that means for academic programs. For example, we've suspended, as of yesterday, 5 dean searches, and so 5 schools at Temple will have dean searches delayed for a period of time. There's never been a time, and again, our plug for Temple, there's never been a time better to stand up and show your support for our university. We have sent busloads and busloads of students and faculty, administrators to the State House in Harrisburg in recent weeks and months to lobby for the stabilization of Commonwealth support to Temple, and we'll do the very, very best we can. However, Temple is poised, as I said. We're not going to let whatever may happen in state government deter our plans to move forward, because we know that if everybody comes together and does their one thing, we'll emerge better and stronger and more competitive than we ever have. And it's not just cheerleader talk. It's going to happen. And you'll continue to be very, very proud of your university. So find a way to stay involved, stay connected, and bring additional people here and bring folks out that ought to be involved with Temple that maybe are not. So again, we thank the Gormans and we thank all of you for being here today. Before we go back to the party, we've got some, here on the ledge, we've got some prizes to give out, and hopefully, you go home a winner. All right. Now, how we